Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. It's Maria. Today we are doing two more bee door decors. I'm making a bee wood round and I'm making a clothespin wreath. So we're going to start with the wood round. So I got this wood round from Home Depot, I believe, or Lowe's. I usually go to both stores, but I can't remember which one I got this one from. But I took the plastic off of it, and then I grabbed my sanding block and I sanded down a little bit. Now, this wood stain I found at Home Depot. I wanted something blue and I was gonna paint it blue, but then I said maybe I'll go with a light wood stain. But then I saw the blue one and I thought it was perfect for this. So it was actually the last one in the store, but I love the color. I fell in love with the color, so I picked it up. I found it on the clearance rack and I picked it up and I started to do like brush it onto the wood round. Now because it's wood stain, I do let this sit overnight or for a few hours. I believe I did this like in the morning and I came back later on that night and finished it off once it was completely dry. Now I brushed Mod Podge over this because I'm painting it and I didn't want it to like run on the wood or anything. So what I did was I ended up just putting the Mod Podge over it, waited for that to dry, and then I went over with my paint. So I'm painting a branch and I am freehanding this. I was just thinking about how to do it, and it's not perfect, but I did a branch, and then I'm gonna add some leaves to it. Now this is, this is like an acrylic paint that I used on here. I'm gonna put the name in the description box below, but it's called Burnt Umber, and can't really pronounce the name of it, so it's gonna be in the description box below. But it's like a little tube of acrylic paint. I got it from a set that I bought from Amazon some time ago, so I have a lot of extra colors, different colors. For the leaves, I am using my DIY Monet's Garden, which is the green, to make the leaves, and then I'm also gonna use other DIY paints later on in the video for my other wreath. But I painted this in green, and then I use a permanent marker to go over the lines to represent the leaves, of course. Now I added a little stem like on the bottom, like a little branch kind of, because I'm gonna do a beehive hanging from here. Now I'm gonna tell you about this beehive because it was all in my head how I was gonna do it, and I thought it was gonna come out perfect. Now I grab my heat gun and I start to glue everything in place, and I do like a zigzag motion on here to make this beehive. So after I was done making this beehive and I was done completing this wood round, I didn't like how the beehive looked, so I added both pictures at the end once this is done, so you can see the difference, because to me this beehive looked like a triangle and I was like, I am so off with this beehive. So I do end up taking it off and redoing the beehive. I did not show that part on this video, but I'm telling you, I did it the same exact way. I did the whole zigzag the way I'm doing it now, only it's a little bit different. The only difference that I did was that I drew the beehive on the wood round before I put the rope on there again. So like I said, I went over with my permanent marker, I went over the leaves and I did the lines on it, and I outlined it in black because I wanted you to see the leaves. I didn't want them just to stay green like that. So once that was done, I drew the little circle onto the beehive, like the opening for the bees, and then I grabbed like the thinner, like a twine, like some twine, and I do wrap it around the opening of it just to have like that extra. It wouldn't just be like that like I did the other ones, so I did grab that. So for the side, I was gonna add a welcome sign here, but I changed my mind on adding the welcome sign. I ended up using my vinyl and I put welcome to our hive, and then I used my black paint to go over it. I used Little Black Dress by DIY Paints to go over it. And then once I'm done going all over all the letters, I do let it dry for a little bit, and then I go over it with some Mod Podge. Now, the only reason why I went over it with the Mod Podge was because I've done wood rounds before, and when I put the coating over it just to seal it, and because this is gloss and this is going to go outside, I don't want it to change color. I didn't want it to smear like once I start putting it on and spread around, so the Mod Podge did help with that. So that's why I put the paint dry, I put the Mod Podge over it, and then after I was done doing everything else, then I added after everything dried, I added the I think it's Spar-urethane over it. I'm going to show you a picture of it, but I'm also going to put it in the description box below so you can see what I'm talking about. But yeah, once I was done with that, then I put everything over, and I covered the whole thing just so it wouldn't change color. See, that's it right there. But like I said, it'll be in the description box below. But that's good for putting it outside because it won't change color on you. So once that completely dried, I grabbed my little bees that I have, and I started to put them on the beehive. And then I got this other big bee that I thought was really, really cute, and I put that on the side to complete that one. But you're gonna see both pictures because I want you to see the beehive, how different it looks. So like I said, I didn't like how this looked after I put it up. I was debating, and I said, nope, I don't like the way it looks, I'm changing it. And I did take it out, and I redid the beehive the same exact way that I did this one. I put the glue, and I moved back and forth, zigzags and stuff. So this is the big bee that I put on the side. But yeah, once you see the pictures that is done, you're gonna see that after the two, because I did put both pictures on here. But I grabbed some D hooks and I put them on the back, and then I grabbed some twine. I kind of doubled the twine or tripled it, and then I wrapped it around and did a knot, and then I put some glue just to have that added secure, that it wouldn't untie later on, even though I did tie it. But once I'm done with that, that would complete this craft, and then we can move on to the next one. But check out the pictures when this is done. Okay, so for our second bee design, this is the wreath. I'm using clothespins to make a wreath. So I did see this one on Pinterest, but there was so many different ones, but I wanted to make one kind of similar, but not exactly similar. So I grabbed the clothespins from Dollar Tree. I used, I think a total of 68, because I painted 34 of the yellow and 34 of the black. Now these have, I think it's 18 that I counted, but you do see me counting the clothespins on the pack because I wanted to see how many I was gonna need or how many I was gonna use. But I do end up painting them. I did 2 packs, or like the 2 sets of 18 each. So like I said, it's like 30, it was 36, I'm sorry, it's 36, but I think I only used 34 of each color. But it's like a total of 68. So once I was done painting those, I do let that dry, but this took me time because I wanted to make sure that I had the sides and the middle and the opening and all of that when I painted it, because I didn't want you to see any of the wood once it was done. So this took some time to do. But once I was done painting that, I do end up putting that to the side, and then I start to paint my welcome sign. So for the colors, like I said, I used the Little Black Dress by DIY Paints for the black, and then the yellow is called Liquid Sunshine, also by DIY Paints. So once I'm done painting this welcome sign, I grab my wreath, my wire wreath from the dollar store, and I start to put my clothespins on it. So I do 2 yellows and then 2 black and then so on. So I clip them onto the 2 lines like in the intersection of the wreath. So the last 2 towards like the outer, I do not clip anything on those. I just do it on the inner ones. So I go through both of them, of course. So like I said, I put 2 yellows and I put 2 blacks. And towards the end, I do leave like a small gap, only because that's where I'm going to tie the bow that I'm making. I'm going to tie the bow on that section at the bottom. So I didn't want to put anything over the clothespins, so that's why I left that opening there. So I left that in the bottom like that, then I went on to move to the other side. Like I said, I painted 36 of each color, but I only ended up using 34 of the yellow and 34 of the black, so that's a total of 68. So once I was done doing this, I start making my bow. So like I said, I got this small tool from Temu, but I wanted to use it because I like to get things to try them out, and if I don't like it, I don't get like the more expensive one. But I'm definitely gonna get me the more expensive one for this one, because they do have a bigger one on Amazon. That's probably a little bit more durable than this one. This one is good. I'm not saying that it's not. I like it. It's small, and I can store it inside one of the bins that I have with all the other stuff. So I think that worked out just fine for this one to make my bows. So like I said, I make my bows. So I'm using 2 ribbons. You can get these at Amazon, or if you want to start shopping at Temu. Temu, like I said, has a lot of nice crafting supplies that they have a lot. I usually go there for stuff because I don't know, for some reason I like their crafting stuff, and they have a lot of it. So I wanted to make the bows like this piece is actually better for the smaller bows. So I use my 4 fingers for the bow in the back, and then because I'm using 2 different ribbons, and then I'm going to use 3 fingers for the other ribbon. So I do 3 on each side for the big one, and then I do 2 for the smaller one. For the second ribbon, I use 2. So I cut the ends of the ribbon the same size as the first one, and then I go on to use my second ribbon. So like I said, I use 4 fingers on each side for the 3 loops on the first ribbon, which is the one with the lines, and then the second one that has the beads on, I only use 3 fingers. But I only loop this over twice because I want it to have 2 on each side. So 3 and then 2. I don't use a third ribbon, even though I could have, but I chose not to. You can use as many as you want if you want to do this. It's totally up to you. You make the bow however you want. But the only reason why I got this is because I am horrible at making bows and I have such a hard time. So I figured this will help. So I ended up cutting it at the end, like I said, and I have some twine already like on the bottom, like in between the 2 sticks. And then once this is done, I then tie it and I make a knot, but that's what's going to hold the bow in place. I don't use any glue. I don't use a zip tie. I use the twine, tie it in the front, then I tie it in the back, and I add a little bit of the glue just to hold it in place, and that's it. But I don't add the glue on the ribbon. I add the glue on the twine, and then I make the knot all over again. So once I'm done, like I cut the ends, once I'm done doing that, and then I fluff up the bows, then I put that to the side because I'm not done with the wreath yet. I wanted them to have like polka dots, so instead of leaving it just plain yellow and then the plain black, I go back, and since it's already in place, I don't have to move anything or let anything dry. I do add some hot glue to this twine because I want to have the welcome sign to be like in the middle, not too far down, but like in the middle. So I do glue that at the end, like to the ends, and then I hang that in the middle. But I think the strings were a little too, how can I say it? I think I hung it down too low, so it kept like hitting on the top. So I do end up adding some glue to the ends, like the W and the E, just to hold it in place. Then I fix the twine to make sure it's correct. But moving forward, I grabbed some of my yellow paint and my black paint, and then I start to make the polka dots with the paint onto the clothespins because I wanted to have the polka dots on it. So the polka dots that I make are yellow on top of the black, and then I use the black paint to make the polka dots on the yellow clothespins. I do end up adding some polka dots to the welcome sign because I thought it was going to look cute. I'm not going to lie. And I said, oh, okay, I'm going to add it to this just to, you know, give it that extra little pop. But I did the welcome sign in black. So like I say, like if I do something and I don't like it, I always go back and fix it because I want it to look better. And I always, like, I'm always honest with my work. I'm not perfect. I do this just to kill time, you know what I mean? And I don't know, I do for fun. It's what I like to do. So I made this and I didn't like how the sign looked. Like the welcome sign just, I don't know, it just wasn't catching my attention. I did not like it. And I ended up going back and fixing it, and I do end up painting it in yellow. And I will say that it looks a lot better in yellow than it did in black, or black with the yellow polka dots. So you'll see that picture at the end as well, because I do go back and fix it. But I do end up putting both pictures, like I did with the first wreath, with the wood round, and then you can tell me which one you think is best. But I do end up liking the way this one looks with the yellow at the end. But if you stay to the end of this video, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe for more. Tell me which one you like best. I ended up liking the yellow welcome sign. Maybe you like this one. Just let me know in the comments below. To the next one. Bye.